I like my job. It's not the average kind of job. I'm not sitting behind a computer in a cubicle all the time. Sure, there is always some computer work involved, but that is not what my job is about. My job is more creative, in a traditional sense. I put ideas to images, and I use several approaches or techniques to do that. But they all involve thinking outside the box. My employer wants my work to be more than an expression of preconceived ideas. My boss says that my work should be stimulating and encourage the client to find new ways to solve his problems. Yes, our company works with clients all over the world, which means I have to travel a lot. But I like that. Every client is different. Some assignments are more challenging than others. It can be stressful at times. There is always the pressure of time and money. But overall, I like my job and the freedom that it brings me. And even though it takes a lot of time, I still have time for my hobbies. For my last assignment, I took a completely different approach. I submitted works that were more personal, more abstract, more dark. The client liked it, but my boss seemed to be disturbed by this new side of me that she had never seen before. Or at least, that is how I perceived her response. She wasn't dismissing my work, but she seemed reluctant? I'm not even sure if that is the right word. Anyway, I haven't spoken to her since I submitted these new works, and of course I'm curious what this choice for a new approach means to me and my employer. Not that I'm worried about my job or anything, but, well, you want to be sure that you're not messing up, right? So I asked the Yijing, what will these works mean to me regarding my working relationship with my employer? And I tossed the coins. The answer of the Yijing surprised me. I knew this hexagram. It is number 50 and it is called the tripod in my translation. This tripod is a ritual object used during ancestor worship. I could not immediately relate that to my question. But I knew other ways to explore the answer. Ways that go deeper than the first impression that one might have of the hexagram name and text. I learned the value of the hexagram and its parts, so I started with that. There is an upper trigram and a lower trigram. The lower trigram represents me, and the upper trigram my employer. I am trigram wind. Wind is about details, progressing in small steps, communication, curiosity, continuation and exploration. In this case, inner exploration, because it is the lower trigram. These aspects are part of the answer to the question, what will these works mean to me regarding my working relationship with my employer? The continuation aspect of wind seems to indicate that these works mean a continuation for me, and the inner exploration aspect might indicate that these works allow me to go deeper in exploring what I put into them. There is no sign of anything new, a new start or a radical change. We have another trigram for that. Wind means that matters will continue and maybe even intensify. There are no moving lines in this trigram, which means that it is balanced. There is not anything going wrong, there isn't something that needs to be fixed or changed. At least not in the lower trigram. The upper trigram is fire. Fire talks about connecting, building a relationship, dependencies. The upper trigram represents my employer. So this trigram might say that my latest work means that it enables me to get a close relationship with my employer. I am wood and they are the fire that can burn because of me. They depend on me. However, there is a moving line in this trigram, which makes the trigram slightly unbalanced. The fifth line changes from a yin line to a yang line, and because of that the trigram fire changes to trigram heaven. The way I see these trigrams is like this. Fire is unbalanced, and because of that it needs trigram heaven to regain balance. A fire that is unbalanced becomes too large, too demanding, too attached. It clings to the wood without considering the damage that it does. So what my work means is that my employer will ask more of me, with me risking a burnout. That's not what I want. I need trigram heaven to balance this. Creativity, choose my own goals and directions, take the lead and tell them how things should be done. I need to take care of myself and the energy that I put into it, otherwise my work will be a burden instead of an inspiration. Fire is also about showing, making it visible. Combined with trigram heaven, this might mean that my work is being seen and appreciated, but this also asks of me to maintain my independency and have a clear direction. The fact that my work is appreciated does not mean that I lose control over it. I have to maintain my own course with this. This can also mean that I actually need to become independent, maybe even a freelancer. Something to think about. The fifth line is moving, which means that this level in the situation needs some attention. The fifth line is the line of the king, and the king decides what is going to happen. This can mean two things. It can point to me, meaning that taking charge is what these works mean to me in relationship to my employer, but it can also mean that my boss or the clients use my work to determine new goals and directions. In any way, there is no indication that my work is being rejected, but it could mean that new ways with clear objectives are opening up. The fifth line is in the center of fire, which means that I can control how the relationship with my employer will be shaped by all this. Even with an employer, you can still maintain integrity and protect your self-interest. On to the nuclear trigrams. The lower nuclear trigram is heaven. There's heaven again. Interesting. The three lines that surround this trigram make trigram mountain, and this trigram prevents trigram heaven from manifesting itself.
Wait, surround this trigram? What do you mean?
The idea of surrounding trigrams is related to the concept of huti, the nuclear trigrams. There are two nuclear trigrams in a hexagram. We have a lower nuclear trigram and an upper nuclear trigram. Each nuclear trigram is surrounded by three other lines. And these lines can be combined to make the so-called baoti. The baoti are trigrams that encircle or enclose the nuclear trigrams. The concept of surrounding or enclosing baoti trigrams is attributed to Lin Guangzhong, who said about its meaning, "Enclosing means it is born out of it. Enclosing and giving birth are actually the same meaning." The baoti surround the huti, the nuclear trigrams. This can have two meanings. The baoti nourish the nuclear trigrams, feeding it, and at the same time it prevents the nuclear trigrams from being born at a premature time. The baoti will keep the nuclear trigrams from showing themselves. This can be good or this can be bad, depending on the circumstances. Most of the time I see the baoti as a restraining component that prevents the nuclear trigrams from manifesting themselves. The lower nuclear trigram is heaven. There's heaven again. Interesting. The 3 lines that surround this trigram make trigram mountain, and this trigram prevents trigram heaven from manifesting itself. Mountain clings to the past, is stubborn and not interested in new ways. It is very conservative and sticks to what it knows. It works from past experience. These qualities will prevent trigram heaven from doing what it should do, be creative with a clear direction of where it is heading. That is something that I should take to heart. I can't be creative in the true sense of the word when I keep doing what I always did. And the comforting sense of security that my experience and past results are giving me is something that I have to let go. This concerns the trigram heaven that combines with fire to make fire balanced. So what these works mean to me with regard to my employer is that through these works I can get a better connection, but I need to take it in a clear, decided direction in which old stuff does not have a place. The upper nuclear trigram is lake. Lake has to do with joy, but also with forcing an opening, making use of opportunities that are presented. It is the trigram that does not worry, it lives by the day and will focus on positive developments. This trigram is surrounded by wind. Wind is also the lower trigram in hexagram 50. It represents me. Interesting. So if I don't enjoy the situation and am unable to see the positive and harmonious effects of it, then this is because of my own inner attitude. Wind as a blocking influence can manifest itself as delay, procrastinating, focusing too much on details and on long-term developments. Planning and deciding next steps is not only unnecessary, but will also keep me from enjoying the positive chances and changes that might be in store. This is part of the answer to my question what my works mean to me regarding my working relationship with my employer. It means that my work and the response to it requires of me to accept current as well as new developments as they are and see and use them as carriers of positive processes that are beneficial to me at the very moment, not tomorrow. The positive future is now, that sort of thing. Let's close this analysis and interpretation with a look at the text of the Yijing. The 5th line is moving, so according to the traditional rules, the text of that line is the text that needs to be focused on. The tripod has golden ears and a bronze carrier. Beneficial divination. Wow, it can hardly get any better than that. As an answer to my question, it means that the relationship with the employer is valued and treasured, and that efforts and expenses are invested to carry it, so to speak. Whatever the developments will be, I'm sure that they are positive and favorable. However, the text could also speak of necessities that should be present in order to maintain a balanced relationship. Without investment of any kind, the relationship will not be carried. Bringing all this to a conclusion as an answer to the question, what will these works mean to me regarding my working relationship with my employer? What these works mean to me is that there is a continuation of a relationship. It also contains an opportunity to deepen my inner exploration and explore my own processes regarding my work and how others perceive it. However, I need to protect my independency and not let others determine the direction in which I will evolve. Be careful not to be burdened by demands that are not beneficial to me and my work. I need to stay in control. To be able to do that, I need to give up the idea that past ways and experiences are helpful. They are not, at least not in this matter. When I start planning and focusing on the future, I will lose the positive chances that are available in the present. What matters is what happens now, and what happens now is good. The prerequisites to maintain the relationship with my employer are all there. All that I have to do is make use of them.